So we're an activist party. We're an activist and electoral party, right? We've talked about our policies. We've talked about how we came to be. So what do we think? How do we think we should organize? How do we think that we should bring these visions into reality? And so a couple of thoughts on the independence of the importance of an independent party. This is from Karl Marx. Even when there is no prospect whatsoever of their being elected, the workers must put up their own candidates in order to preserve their independence, to count their forces, and to bring before the public their revolutionary attitude and party standpoint. In this connection, they must not allow themselves to be seduced by such arguments of the Democrats as, for example, that by doing so they are splitting the Democratic Party and making it possible for the reactionaries to win. The ultimate intention of all such phrases is to dupe the proletariat, right? So going all the way back to Marx, right? We're an eco-socialist party. We're from a bottom left orientation generally, but there's a good amount of influence from Marx. And thinking about going all the way back to Marx believed that workers should run independent of the capitalist parties, that we should put up our own parties even if we're losing, right? That we should put up our own candidates even if we get our ass kicked. And we should do it because this allows us to count our numbers, right? To give a tangible way that people can show up and support us. But more importantly, it allows us to bring our ideas forward, to make a case for things, right? You can look at the governor race in New York in 2018 when Cuomo had to move, right? Cuomo thought he was going to run away, and the Greens all of a sudden are surging. All of a sudden, the Democrats put a $15 minimum wage on the table, which was a green policy and a major green talking point. All of a sudden, the Democrats put a fracking ban on the table, right? These weren't on the table before the gubernatorial election happened, and the Democrats realized we're losing people, right? They realized that the Greens were gaining because we were putting forward popular ideas. And so that's a big part of it, is that we really need to we need to run independent so we can put our ideas out there, so we can test our strategies, so we can test our policies, our rhetoric, our slogans, and we can fine tune our work. Another short one from Eugene Debs: I'd rather vote for something I want and not get it than vote for something I don't want and get it. That quote is extremely, extremely applicable to our modern political system, right? Even though it's over a century old. I often talk about our voting system in modern America as a negative voting culture. Most people are voting against things. They don't like Joe Biden, they don't like Donald Trump, but they don't like the things that they're being riled up about on the other side even more. We've long stopped voting for the things we want. We've stopped having positive aspirational voting. We've stopped campaigning that way. And campaigns have devolved into negative message and hype-based operations rather than organizing opportunities to change hearts and minds and to get people moving in the same direction. And then a final one: the Green Party is no longer the alternative; it is the imperative. We're driving off the cliff. We're under we're well under a decade on the climate clock. We don't have time to wait for the Democrats to realize that they're complicit and to shift course. It is imperative that we forge a new path, and forging a new path tends to require an independent actor, an independent body, not waiting around, sitting on our hands and waiting for those that got us in this mess to solve the problem for us.